This is the most expensive building ever constructed by the Canadian government. It cost $1.2 billion and will soon be home to more than 2,000 personnel whose full-time job is spying on people's internet activity and phone calls. We're trespassing on this top-secret property because we believe Canada's spy agencies should have to answer to the people who pay their bills. The journey that brought us here started almost 2 years ago, when we learned about the missing money.
After 9/11, Canada launched a multi-billion-dollar anti-terrorism strategy. Ottawa could account for nearly $10 billion of that money, but it couldn't say what happened to more than $3 billion of it.
Conservatives have actually lost track of, wait for it, $3.1 billion.
$3 billion was out there stopping terrorists. I guess we thought we'd better look into it. The only way to do this was to locate dangerous people the government had targeted, so we could understand what kind of terrifying plots were getting stopped by our spies. We met with a former Muslim student leader, Hassan. He was targeted in person by CSIS. What sort of things were these Muslim students organizing?
It was part of a faith group on campus that talked about Islam in a really general, peaceful way. We did social activities like bowling.
Then we met with a really high-value target named Cindy Blackstock. 189 government staff were involved in her surveillance. We weren't sure if she could be trusted.
I work at what's called the First Nations Child and Family Caring Society, which is a national NGO that works with children and young people to ensure First Nations children have equity in public services. I'm an associate professor at the University of Alberta. I don't have a parking ticket. I don't have a criminal record. And my biggest scandalous hobby is baking cookies.
It seemed like the government spy programs were focusing on a lot of people who weren't terrorists. They weren't even, suspicious or anything. Very nice people. So if this wasn't about stopping terrorists, what was it all about?
It may come as a surprise for Canadians to hear that this started around the 2010 Olympics. They were no longer looking at nuclear power plants and the protection of power lines and major transportation hubs, but it was then protecting the interests of the corporate sponsors, protecting their brand image. And the lines became blurred between what is critical infrastructure, how that relates to national security, and who are they ultimately working for.
Is it really possible to get rich in the spy industry? Bud Mercer knows. In 2010, he was in charge of the security forces at Vancouver's Olympic Games. Then he retired and became a CEO at a company called the Plenary Group. The Plenary Group builds big buildings. You guessed it, Canada's new $1.2 billion spy palace.
This facility is so grand, the Defense Department calls it Project Camelot. It'll have soaring atria with several lounges and other wide-open common areas. John Adams headed the spy agency for 7 years. He oversaw the project from its conception and makes no apologies.
Did it have to be an architectural wonder? No, it didn't. But glass in this building is the same price as glass in that building. That building's just going to look an awful lot better than this building.
And of course there is security everywhere, mostly to keep others from spying on the spies.
You should not be taking photos here at all. This is setting off all the alarms.
Setting off the alarms?
Yes.
What do you mean?
All the cameras are directed over here right now. You've set off the motion sensors. This will come down. This is our freedom of expression.
There's more to this story, but we can't finish this film without your help. Please visit SHD.ca.